Hey everybody, Dr. Bryton here. Happy Tooth-Tip Tuesday. Today I want to go over some tips for you, and then I'm going to leave you with hopefully a word of encouragement. Before I do, I want to say thank you to the patients that I've spoke with personally. In the moments where I've had to reschedule most all of our appointments, the patients that I've talked to have been extremely uplifting and encouraging. And in a time like this where you're socially isolated to some degree, it's awesome to speak with somebody and them be encouraging. So thank you so much. Into my tips for the day. So we talked last week about the time period now better than ever to develop a habit, such as flossing. And so I want to encourage you, for those of you that have started it, continue that on. You're a week in. Awesome. For those of you that want to start it, you still got time. Go for it. Now's a great time like we talked about. So get into that. But this week what I want to focus on is essentially maintaining some of those habits or routines that you had from before. So right now, with our lives routines pretty much being thrown out the window, it can be a challenge to stay into those healthy routines that you created from before. Things like if you're already flossing daily, using a mouth rinse twice daily, brushing twice daily, or wearing a bite splint. So I had an example here of a patient that got a hold of me a couple days ago with a toothache. Now initially when you hear a toothache from a patient, my mind immediately goes, all right, we might have a nerve issue. This might be in need of, say, like a root canal. But when you start to talk to them, one of the things that you always want to note is, are you wearing your bite splint like normal if they're supposed to be wearing a bite splint? Because a tooth that is going through the forces of clenching and grinding can actually get into a very painful mode, and simply wearing the bite splint relieves it of that, and the tooth will be just fine. We'll come to find out that patient had not been consistently wearing the bite splint. With the stresses of today's environment and being out of their typical routine, it just kind of slipped their mind. And so my hope is that within a couple of days, they're going to feel some relief from that. And it was simply just from not wearing the bite splint, needing to wear the bite splint. And so that's one of those reminders, though, that those routines that you've developed from before, maintain those. This is a tough environment to maintain a typical routine because your typical routine has been thrown out the window. So maintain those. I would say in addition to that, make sure you're being conscientious of your diet. I can say for me, it's a lot easier to want to go grab a couple of M&Ms just throughout the day because they're there. I'm not in my typical routine, and so it's easier just to kind of go out and grab something. And so consider the sugar or the acid that you're exposing your teeth to, because with that, you can see an increase in the presence of gum disease and cavities. And so I mentioned that, but bigger picture with all of that, of maintaining those prior routines that you typically have, is right now we're not in the typical routine of being able to go to the dentist. And so it's more important than ever that you try to maintain it as best as possible till we get back into that typical cycle. So protect those things, remember that, and that's my tip. So from there, what I'd like to leave you with is some encouragement. So John Krasinski is an actor who is best known for a role that he had in The Office. He's been in Jack Ryan, great actor, and recently, within the last couple of days, he put a YouTube video up. It's about 15 minutes long. I encourage you to look it up. I'll show it to you here. And he has made a fake news channel called Some Good News, and it's awesome. Essentially what he is trying to do is make light and essentially show people that there is still good news out there. And he discusses a couple things in here, some awesome stories. It's got a lot of humor to it. It's got some very touching moments as well. But I encourage you just to check it out. In today's environment, there's a lot of negativity in the news, and this is just one of those positive things that's out there. So I leave you with that. Check it out. Hopefully it encourages you. At the very least, it'll give you 15 minutes of some degree of laughter and positivity amidst everything going on. So stay positive out there. We look forward to the day when we get to see you again. If you have any needs, any urgent care, please don't hesitate to give us a phone call. And we said it before, we've had some people respond to it. If you have topics you want us to discuss, please let us know. Comment, email us, and I would love to go over some of those things for you. So hopefully this has been a helpful tip and hopefully a little bit encouraging to you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday and a wonderful rest of your week. Thanks for tuning in.